Boogie boys and girls, did you know that 58,000 Americans, that's over 15,000 Fortnite squads, got straight up eliminated in the Vietnam War? And guess what? In 2018, over 67,000 got wrecked by drug overdoses. That's almost 17,000 squads. It was even worse in 2017. Over 18,000 squads were wiped off the map permanently. That's like the Vietnam War happening every single year. The war on drugs is a total L. We're losing more players to ODs than some insane streamer going on a victory royale streak. I'm talking 2 overdoses a month in Dusty Divot alone. At this rate, I might even get no scope before my next birthday. But how'd we get into this tilted lobby full of sweats? It's this toxic mix of a busted war on drugs and some greedy docs pushing meds like they're chug jugs. America's had a heroin problem for ages, but around 2010, boom! They swapped regular heroin for prescription painkillers. Think of them like med kits that turned people into straight up zombies. Docs were handing these out like candy, and bam, the opioid crisis started cranking 90s. Now more people are dropping from pills than they are dropping out of the battle bus. It's totally messed up. Something major went down and totally changed the game. The whole opioid crisis. It went from a skirmish to an all-out battle royale. Opiates have been like those med packs you find. Good for a quick heal, right? It makes sense to relieve pain after a big gunfight. But here's the thing. Back in the day, they were like a rare loot, like a golden scar. Doctors kept them locked up tight, only bust them out when you really got wrecked. Then some greedy squad at the big pharma company started getting ideas. They hyped up these opioid pain meds like they weren't a big deal, less addictive than a boogie bomb. Why'd they go all in on convincing docs to hand out these meds like candy? We're talking storm circles of cash, piles of V-Bucks. These pharma companies started dropping sales reps all over the map, pressuring doctors to prescribe more and more. The results? Think like a zombie horde. People got hooked like they drank too many chug splashes. And now it's a full-on epidemic. This ain't a game anymore. It's real people getting eliminated left and right, faster than a John Wick dropping in tilted towers. We gotta change the whole strategy before it's too late. All right, picture this. Some big shot pharma companies decided to push these crazy strong opioid meds on docs, like they were hawking some new overpowered golden weapon. The biggest player, think like the Thanos of pain pills, was Purdue Pharma with their hyped up Oxycontin. These pharma reps like those annoying players who keep camping in the same spot. They were all over doctors, spamming the same message. Oxycontin equals no pain, no addiction. They got those docs writing prescriptions like they were handing out free chug jugs. Think about it. Between 1997 and 2002, Oxycontin prescriptions went from a measly few thousand to millions. That's like a small squad suddenly turning into a massive army. Unfortunately, players got caught in this crossfire. This guy, he got messed up playing some real life battle royale, tore up his knee. His doc went from medkits to dropping Oxycontin like it was no biggie. Dude got hooked, kept going back for stronger doses, just like someone chasing that mythic loot drop. The whole thing is straight up messed up. The real losers here aren't the ones who got eliminated in a match. It's the folks battling addiction because some greedy company decided profits were worth more than lives. So this dude needed something stronger, because those basic meds ain't cutting it. Doc goes full noob mode and drops him 7.5s and deal I did. Boom. That's like going from a gray pistol to a gold scar. By 2012, when all this opioid madness peaked, there were prescriptions raining down like supply drops. Over 255 million of them. This was America dropping into tilted towers armed with nothing but painkillers. But here's the thing. Hand out loot like that and a whole lot of folks are gonna get hooked. The war on drugs used to target certain players, but now with these opioids, it went full squad wipe. Suburbs ain't safe zones no more. Now this other guy, his story hits hard. He used to squad up with his buddies, good players all around. They started with oxys, perks, seemed harmless enough, then the switch. Heroin addiction like the storm closing in. Over 25 teammates gone. This wasn't noobs getting eliminated. These were skilled players with the whole game ahead of them. This opioid mess, it's not some Team Rumble respawn situation. These are real lives getting wrecked, families getting crushed. We gotta wake up and demand a new strategy because this ain't no game we can afford to lose. Picture this. 2010 rolls around and these doc campers in Florida who were spamming prescriptions finally got targeted by the authorities. Boom. Painkiller supply lines get cut off for millions of players who already got hooked. But here's where the true battle royale begins. Everyone thinks that this whole opioid mess started with docs handing out pills like candy. Plot twist. That ain't the full story. The real crisis kicks in when you add that busted war on drug strategy. Those addicted players, they didn't just magically get less hooked when their prescriptions ran out. Desperate times times call for desperate measures. Millions of them turn to the black market, the Fortnite equivalent of that shady shop in a dark alley. Heroin became the go-to, and yeah, folks started getting eliminated left and right. That's when the elimination death toll started spiraling out of control. If only there was real med camps set up, places folks could go to get help, not just get cut off. Instead, all of those addicted players were left to fight the game solo with zero backup. We need a major overhaul of this whole system, a new strategy that actually focuses on helping our teammates instead of punishing them. Think of this crisis like the massive storm closing in. It could have been avoided, or at least made less brutal, but those in charge, both the USA and Canada, well, they went with the same old playbook, the war on drugs. And it's like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline, totally the wrong tactic. There's basically two ways people try to handle opioid addiction. The no fun allowed route. Get people to drop any and all opioids, like going cold turkey with the chug jugs. Problem is, this ignores the way addiction changes your brain, like a permanent debuff. Even if you want to change, you're still fighting that uphill battle. The med swap. Using methadone and bufephenone, think of them like controlled med kits. They take away the cravings without the crazy high. This is the meta strategy, the way to actually heal players battling addictions. Cuts overdose risk in half compared to that other method. But some folks have this old school mentality. Meds equals bad, no matter what. Like if you get knocked down, getting a reboot card is somehow cheating. We need to ditch that thinking and actually focus on what helps people in this fight. It's a battle for lives, not some high score challenge. Picture this. They tell you the only way to win this fight is to drop all the meds, even the ones that could save your life. It's like the Just Say No campaign cranked up to intense levels. No shields, no health packs, just grit your teeth and hope you don't get sniped. Denying players the tools they need to stay in the game, that isn't just a dumb strategy. It's straight up cruel. And here's the thing, it isn't an accident. This whole war on drugs thing, it's built on treating some players like they aren't even humans. Just targets to punish, not teammates to help. The government treats them as if they are bots in our Fortnite lobby. Speaking of saving lives, let's talk about naloxone. This is like the ultimate revive kit for an opioid overdose. Someone gets taken down by too much of the wrong meds, their health bar hits zero, naloxone can bring them back. But some folks are against even having it around. It's this messed up logic. If we don't let players get eliminated, they won't learn their lesson. This mindset has been at the core of the war on drugs since the beginning, and it's gotta change. Imagine this, your teammate gets knocked down by some toxic meds, their health bar flatlining. You whip out the Narcan. It's like a supercharged revive kit. One shot, boom, they're back in the fight. It's practically magic, giving folks a second, third, even fourth chance. Narcan is simple. It's the difference between getting eliminated and staying in the game. And yet some squads out there, those like police forces, refuse to even use it. It's like watching a teammate bleed out and refusing to toss them a bandage or revive them. Why? Get ready for a real head scratcher. Some of these folks are so messed up, they actually want players to get eliminated. Like, you OD'd, that's your fault. No revives for you. Some people even brag about not helping people that really need help. That's a total noob move. Here's the thing, when you're applying that Narcan, you're not focused on whether someone vibes with your squad or not. This isn't some popularity contest. It's about saving lives, period. We gotta spread the word. Anyone playing this messed up no revive strategy is on the wrong side of this fight. Butler County, Ohio, 2017. This isn't no regular skirmish. Overdoses wiped out more players than anything else combined. That's like a storm circle shrinking to zero, taking out the entire lobby. No victory royale, no winners. But then one player gets real. Narcan saved my life. Relapses happen. Like getting knocked down multiple times in a tough zone, overdose hits. You're down for the count, but Narcan brings you back. Without it, this dude is a goner. It isn't about judging players who mess up. Narcan, it's like an extra life, a chance to reset and try again. This guy gets it. Addiction is tough. If Narcan wasn't there, I wouldn't be here. But here's the thing, it's not just about getting eliminated. This dude could have been lost for good. No chance to rebuild, to level up. Narcan gives us a shot at a comeback, something way bigger than a victory royale. So those greedy pharma companies, they got millions hooked on opioids, raking in loot like there's no tomorrow. We saw how that switch to heroin was brutal, but plot twist, the real nightmare was yet to come. Most folks in the addiction game figured heroin was the worst it could get. We were dead wrong. Fentanyl hits the scene. This synthetic opioid, it ain't just just stronger than heroin. It's like a mythic weapon compared to a basic pistol. A tiny dose can send you straight to the lobby. Around 2014, this stuff starts flooding in. Dealers see the ultimate money hack. Cut their heroin with this cheap, mega strong opioid. It's like those supply drops with insane loot. Suddenly, they can score huge with next to nothing. When they say fentanyl's way more toxic than morphine, it isn't hype. We're talking 1 pound of fentanyl equals 50 pounds of heroin. Imagine a smuggler can barely fit a backpack full of heroin, but with fentanyl, they're carrying enough to knock out a whole server. This crisis is a whole different beast now. We need next level strats to combat this, because fentanyl ain't no regular fight. It ain't those prescription pills driving this insane spike in OD deaths across the whole map. The real boss fight, fentanyl, and those crazy powerful synthetics. Think of them as dropping a nuke on the entire lobby. From 2015 to 2017, those fentanyl seizures tripled. New York City alone, the DEA snagged enough fentanyl to wipe out the whole population 11 times out. That's like finding a chest packed with weapons powerful enough to take out an entire server. But wait, it gets even more insane. Car fentanyl hits the scene. That's 100 times stronger than regular fentanyl. 1 gram of that stuff, we're talking 50,000 potential eliminations, enough to wipe out a whole city-sized squad. So where are we now? Data's still rolling in, but early warnings say COVID messed up everything even worse. OD eliminations might break $70,000. The big pharma companies are getting wrecked in court, but the fight against the opioid crisis is far from over. So Purdue Pharma, those greedy loot box devs who started this whole mess, they're getting sued by everyone. Cities, countries, the works. They even tried the bankruptcy shield tactic. Yeah, that didn't work. But here's the thing, them losing in court isn't enough. The victims, they're still out there. Think about it, every 15 minutes, a new player joins with a massive debuff, hooked on opioids since birth. Every day, 128 players get eliminated from an overdose. Experts say over 500,000 players could be wiped out by opioids in the next decade. We're talking about 1 in 600 of the entire population. Unless we completely change the strategy, this battle royale is just gonna get worse. So yeah, congrats to the drugs for winning this messed up war on drugs. While authorities were busy chasing small-time pushers, the real enemy was getting rich and leaving a trail of knocked out players behind. This ain't a game anyone should be winning. But getting serious, if anyone you know is suffering from drugs, please do not be a default skin and let them suffer alone. Throw some support their way. Be their lifeline. Be there for them, because nobody should be left behind in the storm of drug addiction.